I don't think Madge is a bad coach. I think he's a great coach. I think people are just quick to judge because of the Tigers. What Melbourne continue to do year in and year out, and why I love them so much, is that players go down, other players step up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of League Chat with the Stat. It's been a minute since I've been on here and done one of these, but it's good to be back. We're joined by a guest, not the guest that we were expecting at this stage, which we'll hopefully get some point in the off-season, but we've got a guest, so we're wrapped to introduce our guest for this week, Bill.
How are we doing, boys?
All right, my mate.
Good to see you still do this.
Mate, it's, it is good. It's good that I still do this, let me tell you. Big Ray, over at IT. All right, my man.
What's happening? How are you?
All right, brother.
I'm getting all mixed up with the transitions and everything, but we're good. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. It's been a while.
It's been a minute, bro.
Like across all podcasts.
Hey, we've got a lot to catch up on when Have a Chat with Ray Stat comes back.
Yeah, we do.
Good.
I kind of noticed you're sporting a Bulldog shirt. I'm seeing that the pride is still there.
Brother, the pride is there by default. If
Okay.
we can go through 8 years of towards last on the ladder, I guess I can take it through final season.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see a finals win, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do too. And that's why I'm very frustrated.
Yes, sir.
I hate the Bulldogs, but I don't want to talk about them right now. We have a few other things that are of relevance to talk about. The thing I want to talk about with you, Bill, is I think first things first is this finals race has been blown wide open after the weekend.
Yep.
Now, obviously, recapping week one, Broncos win probably one of the best finals games I've ever seen. Surely that's probably one of the best that's ever been played, right?
I mean, would have been nice as a grand final.
Oh, yeah.
It was a cracker game, and obviously the Broncos won, so that would have been great.
Yeah.
We're finding out real fast whether this hoodoo, the giving up 50 or more in a game in the season, we're finding out if that really can stop you from winning the grand final, because I feel like Canberra should have won that game about 7 different times.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily they didn't. So, I mean, great win for us, but I mean, I don't think that means we're going to win the final. I don't think it means Canberra are going to come back and win. Penrith, Melbourne, like there's...
I mean, the possibilities are so endless at this
endless.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because I have been so adamant from maybe 6 weeks ago, even prior to the final starting, that Penrith will win the comp. I've had that penciled in. I think Penrith will win it. I made a crazy prediction at the beginning of the season that Knights will get the spoon, and I got that right. So I'm buzzing.
We'd love
you know
to
what
see
I mean?
that. We love
Yeah,
to see
well
that.
done,
I'm
sir.
wrapped. Thank you.
Especially Joe had that.
Thank
He
you.
loves that one.
Yeah, he does. But really wrapped on that. But I truly believe, I think out of all the teams that could win the comp because no one's done it from the bottom four, also from the bottom eight. I think Penrith can do it. I've always said that from the beginning.
I feel like this is one of those ones where us, being the Broncos, Canberra, Penrith, Melbourne, those 4 teams on any day could beat anyone.
Yep.
If they turn up. They could also be bad enough that they lose to anyone as well. Like, obviously, Penrith finished, a lot lower than you would have expected because they had a lot of games where they just didn't turn up and they lost.
Yep.
Melbourne, just coming into the finals, they lost to us. They got smoked by another team as well. Like, they can not turn up and lose as well. Obviously, they got a few injuries. So, Canberra just showed that they've been the best team all season and they didn't fully turn up and put us away and they lost. So I feel like to win 3 straight games to actually win the championship this year, it's a tough ask, and there's a lot of teams that can do it, but they've also shown a lot of vulnerability where sometimes it's just not their day and they can't find a way to get it done. So it's going to be really interesting to figure it out. It's the most open it's been. Personally, I would love to not see Penrith win. Obviously, because my team, the Broncos, are still in and I want to see them win. But if we weren't to win, maybe a Melbourne, maybe even a Canberra. Like, I want something a bit different. And I think a lot of the fans who are not Penrith fans, they'd like to go and watch a league where it's not the same team winning every single year for 5 straight years, even on an off year, where they struggled a lot more than usual. But, I mean, if they do it, that's insane. And to your point, like, if any team's going to do it, it's probably going to be them. So, it's going to be really interesting the next few weeks.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And like I said, I had been so adamant that it would be Penrith, and I thought it would be as clear-cut as probably from what we've seen. But Penrith haven't been convincing the back end of the season. Melbourne haven't been convincing the back end of the season. The only team that's actually been very convincing, and I didn't see it coming, is the Broncos, to be honest. You know, losing Reynolds, losing Mam, losing Cobbo, everyone like, oh, they're done. Hunt comes into 7. Walters comes into 6, who's been unbelievable. Yep. They go undefeated the last 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, it's a crazy feat to then get the week off, coming into the game against Melbourne. I mean, I think you guys will be playing Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but to your point, the last 5-6 games, like our only loss has been Parramatta.
Yeah,
which, I mean, obviously they were a lot better in the second half of the season, getting Mitch Moses back and a few other guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just shows you that yes, we've been one of the most informed teams in the comp, but like if you don't turn up on the day, you're not going to get done. So. I mean, the Canberra game was really interesting. Bunch of sin bins. It was very, very interesting. I don't know that Ashley Klein was the guy for the job. I'd be very concerned if he gets the grand final, whether my team's in it or not, to be fair. I don't want to see a referee who can't control the game. So I feel like that had a lot to do with how the game went, but probably not how it ended. So, I mean, it's good that it still ended up being a cracker game, but for all the form we're in, we can have one bad game, one Walsh injury, one poor dynamic where we bring the guys back and they just don't click like we have clicked right now. I mean, not trying to upset you, but the Bulldogs are a great example of what happens to team chemistry when you suddenly change things up. Things went from really good to really bad pretty fast. And I don't know, bringing people like Reynolds back, Mam back, like they're great players. Like they make us better on paper.
Yeah.
And for the last few years. But right now, the way we're rolling with Walsh getting his hands on the ball a lot, like we're loving that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if changing that's going to change how well we perform because we're the second highest scoring team in the comp. Only the Dolphins scored more than us. So in attack, like we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But defensively, if these guys come back and we're just not a solid unit, like I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Like Kevy's got some big decisions because if he doesn't bring those guys back and they're healthy and we lose, well, then he's under a lot of heat. If he brings them back and we lose, well, then he's under a lot of heat. So Madge has like a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't envy him. Like if he wins, great. But if he loses, no matter what he does, he's going to be under scrutiny. And that's just the reality of coaching the Broncos. Like success is expected. And now that we've gone this well, like the fan base just expect results. And I mean, we're capable. But if you don't deliver, then suddenly it's the coach's fault. So...
yeah,
we saw that with Kevy. Obviously, like he got shown the door a year after making the grand final, which, I mean, poor guy, like he's a Broncos legend as well. So, I mean, I'm hoping we win, and I'm hoping for Madge's sake, because I kind of like him, that things go well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll find out.
So let me ask you this, because I'm curious to ask someone a bit as a neutral Broncos fan. Madge. Now, a lot of Broncos fans that I know were very critical of him being signed on as the coach. And then you guys went on that bit of a run where you had lost 5 or 6 in a row, or 6 your last 7, at like near the middle of the season. Now you guys are a game away from the grand final. Do you think it's because of Madge, or do you think it's because of the star players that you have that have done it? Because I think whichever way it goes, I think Madge has had a very successful year at the Broncos.
Yeah, great question. I mean, look, I think we needed a disciplinarian, and that's what Madge is.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, he rubbed some of the younger guys the wrong way because he came in hard and fast, and preseason was hectic, and we're training too hard and whatever. And like, I don't think Kevy's a bad coach. I just think they needed a new voice, which, I mean, as a coach in basketball, like I don't like the player movement where they just had a sook and they wanted someone else and he kind of lost the locker room, so to speak. But the reality of coaching sport at this level is if you have lost the locker room, no matter how much talent you have, if they're kind of checked out and they're not buying in, like it's going to be hard to get results even though we had a lot of talent.
Yep.
And I feel like when Kevy came in and he was a new voice, like we went straight to the grand final, we probably should have won it. And then they got tired of him, and then I mean, winning covers a lot of problems. Yeah. Like when you don't like your coach or whatever, but you're winning, it's like, whatever, we'll keep turning up. When you struggle like we did last year and you're not happy with the coach and things are just not going how you want, it's really easy to kind of just switch off. And I don't think it's very professional from some of our players, to be fair. Obviously, some of those guys have been moved on, but like bringing Madge in, Did we love it at first? I could see why they had done it and the potential for success there because it was like a new voice. We have the talent. They just got to buy in because like he knows what he's doing, obviously. And it's turned out to be pretty successful. Like whether we win it or not, I think we've achieved better than most people expected. Even like Broncos fans, like, I mean, after last season, like, let's just make the 8 somewhere. To sneak into the top 4 when 5-6 weeks to play, it didn't look like we were going to make it. And then the Warriors kind of buckled a bit. We snuck into the 4. We stole the game in Canberra. Like, I mean, that's all great news. Like, that's a successful season. But obviously, like, Broncos fans, especially with the squad we got, like, they expect a lot. And they've always been a club that's been proud to, you know, get results and achieve. So I don't think he's finished the job, but I think for a first year, like, he's done what he's been brought in to do. Yeah. And if we can roll that on, then great.
So, sorry, to go off what you said that winning covers a lot of issues when it comes to a coach. Do you not think that's happening with Madge? Like, to be straight out, like, you can't fault it. They're in the finals, right? Yeah. They're getting there. They're in postseason. But I feel like Madge's whole shtick has not been working for the Broncos, and winning has been covering all the issues that are popping up there. I think he's run them too hard at certain points. I think he's made pretty bad decisions. Personally, I don't think Madge is a good coach. I think Tiger Town made that pretty clear. Oh, what do you think of that?
I mean, I think Tiger Town's a bit of an exception. Like, they didn't have much to work with. They didn't have the attitudes or the experience with the talent that we've got. Like, you saw what he did with Souths. Like, I thought that spoke for itself. Like, he did pretty well. Because, like, after that, Seabold came in at Souths, and he got given, like, a really good team similar to what Madge had, and he did okay. And then
Demetrio,
So, well, Demetrio, Seabold, none of them have really achieved what Madge could, and a bunch of them had really good rosters. And I think Madge, you might not think he's a great coach, Ray, and possibly not, but I think it's kind of what our guys needed, like someone to be hard on them, and I feel like it's starting to pay off. We've won a bunch of close games where we've been super disciplined and stuck to a game plan. Like, to beat Melbourne the way we did, that doesn't happen accidentally. Like, they brought Hughes back, and yes, he got injured, but like, they had come off a loss. They said they were going to bring their guys back that were resting, like Katoa. Harry Grant was obviously suspended a game. But, like, they brought guys back, and coming off a hiding from the Roosters where they gave up 40 in the second half, like, Bellamy, like, he came to play the following week, and we dismantled them, like, systematically, which I think is due to the fact that Madge is really, really straightforward and strict with certain things on systems and defense and having a game plan in attack, which I think our guys kind of needed. Like, Walsh is obviously a bit of an exception where he gets to play a little bit off the cuff and, like, okay, we're trying to do this and that, but sometimes he just gets the ball and makes things happen, which is great. And to your point, Ray, I don't think that's Madge's brilliance. I just think that's Walsh. Yeah. But I also think the rest of the stuff that we do is what let us down last year. So, like, we'd have flashes of brilliance, but the rest of the stuff was we're undisciplined, we're not in shape. Come late in the game, we fall apart, and we just let teams get wins on us, which didn't happen as much this year. So I think he's helped.
Yeah. Stat, what do you reckon? Do you think he's a good coach?
I think he's a great coach. I've always been on the opinion, and not many people have agreed with me, but I think he is such a great coach. He won the comp in 2014. Obviously, then went to Tigers. I feel like any coach that's gone to the Tigers, it kind of doesn't really count towards their career. I feel like it's like an asterisk on their career because the Tigers bought it that much of a joke. You know what I mean? And I just think that it's really hard to attain any success at the Tigers. So I kind of put an asterisk on that part for Madge. But Madge, the reason I think he's such a great coach, so I've already did at the Rabbitohs, is he's gone into different cultures, into different areas of the game and made them successful. Look at New Zealand. He coached New Zealand to some great victories. The last victory I had for New Zealand was a 30-0 win over Australia. You don't get that over Australia at any point, at any time. It's pretty rare. Then he came into New South Wales for the 1 year, and we won the Origin. So he knows how to come in, work with different talent, regardless of where they're at in their fitness, where they're at, how they play. He knows how to come in, bring them together, and get a job done. We could possibly be really seeing that at the Broncos this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with the Broncos as well, last year we talked about last year a little bit, right? You talked about, Walters and everything else. I know that there was a lot of injuries to your campaign last year as well.
Yeah.
You guys have had a couple of injuries this year. I mean, Reynolds hasn't had a great consistent run of form in terms of, being on the field. He's always been hampered by a hammy injury. Then he go into training, and then in training he'll redo his hammy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, again, and if it's affecting a spine position, it sucks. But the great thing about the Broncos, and the smart thing that Maguire did, whether it was Maguire or not, but having Ben Hunt come back into the club, giving Mem a second chance to, Mem came in, fit straight back into, it's like he didn't have time off. Hunt's come in, it's like, all right, I know where I need to go from here. And then you've got coverage like Billy Walters, who's the last 2 months has been absolutely insane for you guys, maybe even 3 months, which is unfortunate now he's got that little ACL injury, but Maguire knows how to bring him together. He knows how to get him forming towards the common goal. And as long as the players are bought in, they're a game away from the grand final. So I don't think Madge is a bad coach. I think he's a great coach. I think people are just quick to judge because of the Tigers. He won a comp 11 years ago, he's irrelevant. No, you win a comp, you win a comp. I don't care how it was different back then to what it is now. I think it's so relevant that he's won a comp. He's got that. Not many coaches are going around and getting new gigs at different clubs have won comps.
Yeah. So
I think Madge is a great coach. I love what he's doing at the Broncos. I love the toughness he's instilled into the players. I love the hard approach he's put in, because at the end of the day, buy in or get out, Cobbo, he had to make some tough calls.
Yeah.
Cobbo's a prime example. Everyone's like, man, Cobbo's a free, Cobbo's this, as if he'd let him go. But you don't buy into what we're trying to do, you're gone. Yeah. Aside from the fact that Broncos also have salary cap issues. But at the end of the day, you don't buy into what Madge is trying to do to win a comp, sacrifices have to be made. Cobbo had to go.
I agree.
And Karapani's come in, he's done a job.
He's done great.
You know what I mean? They've made tough calls. They've brought Marinette in, Jesse Arthurs, who's been in the team most of the 3/4 of the year. So, Madge isn't afraid to make the tough calls if he knows that he's going to bring success. Right now, there isn't that trophy in the Broncos cabinet yet, but he has done some amazing things this year, and he's had his back against the wall, and media going at him because he goes and takes his players on a weekend, like on a boat cruise, and everyone blows up at deluxe about him. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it just needs time. And if it doesn't happen for Broncos this year, they even have a better chance next year, to be honest.
I mean, our half situation's interesting. Obviously, hopefully Walter's injury isn't super long.
Yep.
I don't know how long we're going to keep Mam around after all the drama in the last year and him being in and out of the lineup. Obviously, Reynolds is getting older.
Yeah.
Whether he goes or stays, I mean, he just can't stay healthy right now.
Yeah.
And that affects his form. That consistency, that rhythm of playing week in, week out, and just being in form. It's hard when you're in and out, or you're playing not 100% and you can't make certain movements or whatever. And that's what I love about what we've had the last few weeks. It might not be our best 17, but they're clicking and they're all healthy and they're buying in together. For example, we've dropped Arthurs to put Karapani on the wing, and even Mariner sometimes with Cobbo and Arthurs out. We've moved Arthur's to the bench. He's been coming in off the bench sometimes if we need it, because Arthur's just hasn't been that much in form. And I personally, from a disciplinarian standpoint, I love that we dropped Shibasaki a week ago for turning up to training,
tough calls,
ready to train.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty straightforward, and that's setting a standard. And I love that, because some of these young guys, they got a lot of talent, but they were good from an early age, and they got a lot of things just handed to them. And they just thought they can do what they want.
Sorry, I'll say that. That's the one thing I love about Madge.
Yeah.
He doesn't take any crap from any player. You're not bigger than the team.
I love that.
You're not there, you're out.
And unfortunately, I thought Shibasaki would turn back up, ready to go. Oh, my bad, boys. I'm back. And he was one of Canberra's best players in that game. So I kind of hope we drop him. Kind of hope we drop him again, because the week we dropped him before, we played pretty well.
Yeah.
But going into the season, especially considering Cobbo was one of our best last year, to think about, if someone told me, Cobbo's going to get dropped halfway through, he's going to be a nuisance, a distraction, he's going to want out, he's probably going to leave to somewhere else, it's going to be wow, really? He was one of our main strike weapons last year, because we didn't have much happening, and sometimes he would just get the ball and just go on a rampage.
Yeah.
And it was great to watch, but there's a lot of head noises with him, a lot of other issues and baggage, which some of these other guys like Mariner, Karapani, they've come in and they have none of that. They're just no nonsense. They work hard. They do their job. And the more people that buy into doing their job and their role and not trying to do too much or complain, no, I want this and I want to do that. Like, it's good. It's healthy competition. Like, guys like Arthur's, they now are looking around like, oh, man, I got to be good or I'm just not going to get picked. It's not, like, nothing's guaranteed for a lot of those fringe guys, which makes them compete harder. And I love that. So, like, that competitive environment is helping us a lot down the stretch of close games against good teams because, like, we're grinding a few wins out. And I think you need that in the finals because, like, to go and blow teams out every single game and win a championship, it just doesn't really happen. So
that's right.
You're going to have a little bit of that. And I think that's where Madge has been great, Ray. X's and O's, like, you might want to say Kevy's better or Madge isn't amazing. But I feel like that discipline has helped us down the stretch of a lot of games, and we probably don't make the top 4 without that. We definitely don't beat Canberra from 16 down without that as well. So, I mean, Canberra have lost, I think, 1 game at home this year, and it was to the Bulldogs right at the beginning of the season by 12.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, beating them in Canberra is tough, and, like, I don't know when the last time we did that was either. So, to do it in such a big game, I think is obviously Walsh and Walters. They were great. But, like, the wider part was just, like, the first 2 tries we conceded were off kicks. Like, they're not really breaking our line and whatever. Like, they're putting in grubbers behind. And, yes, Walsh might have been out of position on 1 or 2 of them. But, like, our defense compared to last year is night and day difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot to do with how hard Madge has worked them because, like, it doesn't come easy. Like, against the top teams, being able to defend that well and holding Melbourne to barely anything. I know they got 1 or 2 late, but, like, that was missing last year. And that was leading to losses and frustration, and a lot of that got directed at Kevy, whether it was his fault or not. But then people started saying the boys don't listen to him and whatever. And, like, the reality is a lot of professional sports are driven by the players, not the coaches, unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yes, they're divas, and, yes, it's not professional. But, like, once it gets to a certain point, like, even if you like the coach and he's a club legend or whatever, if he's just not getting results and the guys aren't playing hard for him anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
I
time for change.
understand moving him on.
Time for
but,
change.
like, we've had a plethora of poor decisions. Like, a lot of Broncos fans will go back to when we moved Wayne Bennett on. Like, that was a terrible decision.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like this one's a little bit different because, like, whether it's Kevy's fault or not, it's gotten to a point where if you don't change the coach, you're not getting the results we're getting this year.
Yeah.
So, Madge has been a good change. How long will it last, Ray? That's a good question. Like, next year, if we come out and we're not having this success, there could be dramas because he's, you know, a bit of a tyrant. We'll see. But, yeah, I think winning does cover a lot of issues. And right now, I don't know how many of those issues we have, but I know it's less than last year, which is nice. So.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think, and then the final thing I'll say on the Broncos before moving on to the Storm is I truly believe that Broncos will have this year, next year to win the comp. Because, you know, with Reynolds going to retire, Ben Hunt will probably retire, unless he's crazy enough to play another season, which, look, I think he can, but I think it all depends. I think probably your next, like this year and next year is your best shot to win the comp with Madge. But I want to talk about Melbourne because you talk about a team that always finds a way. Melbourne always find a way. They beat the Dogs, and when they beat the Dogs, they weren't great. Somehow the Bulldogs managed to be a lot worse. But Melbourne always find a way. Like, Jonah Pezzett played unbelievably. You know, if there is anyone, if there are clubs that need halves desperately, like Dragons, Knights, they could use a Jonah Pezzett in their team and change their whole team around because he was incredible for Melbourne. What Melbourne continue to do year in and year out, and why I love them so much, is that players go down, other players step up. Yeah. And it's the players that step up in the key positions. Jerome Hughes copped a bit of a, like, he obviously got injured against you guys the regular season, that he had to go. Harry Grant was suspended for a couple of games. They had Bronson Garlick in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, these kids who are like, oh, Bronson Garlick, like, what a laugh, come in and do a job and at times do it better than the starting hooker or the starting half. Pezza was unbelievable. And the way that Melbourne just continually grind out games, regardless of who's out, it's a sight to behold because now in the prelim, they're going to get Jerome Hughes back.
Yeah.
You know, like he's fighting to come back. Pappenhausen will be back as well from his concussion. I mean, like Nick Meaney, a couple of years ago, he's a laughing stock at the Dogs. He's now become an important part of this machine at Melbourne.
Yeah.
That he's now, no, I need you to go from centre to fullback. I need you to do a job. And he did a job. I won't say he did it amazing, but he did a job.
Yeah.
But it's enough, and that's what I love about Melbourne, and that's why I think they are such hot favourites to win the comp as well, is because even these young kids getting a taste and playing these big games, you know, in with the lack of experience they've got, mate, it's instrumental for them.
Yeah, I agree with you, and you called them a machine. I think that's what they've been for a long time, a well-oiled machine where they can bring guys from other teams, other organizations who just didn't look great, and they can slot them in and teach them a role and have them come in and do a good job and just complement everything else they got going on. And that's why that next man up mentality has been really big for them. Especially like if you look at the future, like we don't know how long Bellamy's going to be there, but like every year it could be it, he could be staying, he could be going somewhere else. Munster could be off to, you know, Perth. I mean, that's really possible. So like developing young guys while they have these stars is big.
Yeah.
But like they're getting a lot of opportunity to do so because unfortunately for them, their stars have been unavailable a bit more this year than normal. Like Hughes, like Pappenhausen's always had his injury concerns every year, but Hughes is usually pretty reliable. Munster's usually pretty reliable. Harry Grant's usually pretty reliable. They've always had hookers between Grant and Brandon Smith previously anyway.
Yeah.
So now it's a little bit different, and they're still getting the job done, which is why it was surprising to see them give up 40 to the Roosters late in the season and then lose to us the way they did. But again, like if they do turn up on the day, they're hard to beat. Like I think before we beat them, then we had lost our last 15 or 16 regular season matchups against them.
Yep.
So I'm sure they're going to remember the fact that we put it on them late in the season in a big game. And like, if we do match up with them, like I'm not super duper confident that we can beat them. Like I know we can, but like the way Bellamy just finds a way to get the best out of his guys and game plan for specific big matchups, especially ones that he's had on certain teams for a long time. Like, yes, we beat them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen very often. And early in the season, we got smashed by them. And that's when Cobbo got injured, Reynolds got injured, Mann got injured. Like, they decimated us, not just on the scoreboard, just all over the field. So, like, they have that ability. And, like, they're very good from in front. Like, yes, Penrith are one of those teams that can beat anyone. But, like, if you get down against Melbourne and they're having a game, it's hard to come back because they just know how to play field position footy. They know how to, like, protect the lead. And, like, you start getting real desperate against them and throwing the footy around. And, like, that's exactly where they want you to be. They want you to be behind, desperate. Now you're making a few more errors. You play right into their hands. And they haven't had that as much this season, to be fair. But if they do turn up on the day and start well, like, and they're front runners, they're hard to run down because of how well oiled they are. There are not many chinks in their armor. And, like, you talk about Nick Meaney coming in. He's been great for them. And he's just, like, another solid player they have on their roster who, before going to Melbourne, it was okay. Like, you look at Eli Katoa, like, he was never bad at the Warriors, but, like, he's elite now.
Yeah.
He's one of the best second rowers in the game. Like, he's that guy that you really got to worry about, which now helps the playmakers because you can play out the back, you can play to him, and he's just that dominant enforcer on that edge, which, I mean, after losing so many of them in the last few years, they lost Tino, obviously. They lost Bromwich, like, when he was younger and in his prime. Nelson used to be one of those guys. Now they barely even use him. They're trying to get rid of him. Like, they got Stefano now as well. Like, they got some big boys who come in and they're just disciplined. But if you give them a chance, like, they're going to do some damage. So, like, they've got some guys who, on their day, like, they're very hard to stop. But when they turn up defensively and they shut teams out, like, they're almost impossible to beat.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, if we're having a good game, Penrith having a good game, or maybe even the Raiders, like, possibly. But, like, I wouldn't bet against Melbourne.
Yeah, no,
like,
can never bet against them.
But again, you wouldn't really bet against Penrith with what they've done the last few. There's so many opportunities and potential outcomes of this season.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm hoping we see more games like the Broncos Raiders game because that was cracker.
Yeah.
And, like, with some of the matchups that look like they're coming up, like, on paper they look good, but sometimes the team doesn't turn up and it's like a 20, 30-point game and you're like, oh, man, like, I was hoping that was going to be a good game. I'm hoping for a few more good games before the grand final. So I know there's not a ton of games left, but, like, it's looking good.
Yeah, no, it is. I think already from the first week of the finals, there had been such an entertaining start to the finals. I think all the games that were played were very, very close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So And like we're talking about with Melbourne and we talk about with Broncos, but like Penrith are another team that they just, I want them to win it so bad. But and it's not for reasons, for any other thing aside from the fact that, they were running dead last at round 12. They were outright last. To go from outright last, book yourself into a spot in the finals, one is crazy in itself. Because when you look at the teams that have been at the bottom of the ladder all year, Newcastle, Gold Coast, Rabbitohs, through no fault of their own, but they've been dreadful this year.
Terrible.
Penrith was sitting dead last.
Yep.
Knights were above Penrith at one point. And that's the part that I can't seem to get my head across, is that Penrith were outright last, even Knights were ahead of them.
Yeah.
So for Penrith to come from dead last to finish 7th.
Mate, they should have made the 4 with a few rounds left.
Yeah, they should have made the 4.
They were pretty much 4th.
Yeah.
Like, they obviously had a draw, which they should have won.
Yeah, and then I think they had like 2... they had a draw, and then I think there was 2 golden point losses that they copped as well.
Yeah.
Then they rested their whole team against us, which honestly, I reckon they could have got us because the Dogs are ridiculously bad. And then they obviously pumped the Dragons at the end of the season, but that was they knew that they weren't going to finish top 4 and they needed a break at some point in the season. Utilized it very smart. And this would be, I think, when they against the Dogs, they were at full strength for the first time. So it's amazing to see how far they've come already. Because beginning of the year, like they lost their first 4, first couple of games, like what the heck, like the dynasty's over. Everyone's rubbishing them. They're done. They're not what they used to be. The loss of Luai is impacting them. Sitting dead last, going to the finals to make grand final to win it. That's why I wanted to win it, because if they win, of the 5 years of dominance that Penrith have had, this would be the best one yet.
It would.
You know what I mean? Right.
It would.
Penrith for 5, bro.
You know what I mean?
Penrith for 5. I'm telling you, I've been saying it for a while.
Penrith for 5, bro.
They deserve it. They have earned it. They have just shown the league that this is what you need to do to be a dominant team in the modern game. And they're perfect. They're beautiful.
Right us off your own pearl, as they say. I'm talking like a full Penrith fan, but
I mean, there's a lot of teams you can say that about. Like Melbourne, we just spoke about them.
Yeah.
Like they're a team as well. I feel like apart from giving up more than 50, because we know that's the hoodoo, I feel like Ricky did the whole resting players better than anyone.
Yeah.
I think Bellamy did it a couple of weeks before before the season ended. Then he brought him back against us in the last round. I feel like you guys are stupid. Like you've been stupid all year. But playing all your main guys against Sharks, I don't see what there was to gain because you couldn't really move on the ladder. Similar for them, actually.
Yeah.
Because you guys both copped a bunch of injuries that last game. I mean, people were banged up. Hines got suspended originally and then he got free to play.
Yeah.
I think Ricky, like, yes, they gave up over 50, which might have ended their season effectively. But I think resting your main guys in the last week, I understand you want the momentum. I understand you want the chemistry. But if you haven't achieved that through 27 rounds, I don't think one more game is going to help. Whereas you get a concussion in the last round and it's severe enough, you have to miss at least 10, 11 days. That could put you out of a playoff game or a final game.
Yeah.
You could cop an injury that's a 1 or 2 weeker. And it's the last round as opposed to, 2 weeks to go. Like, we got a bit of time to fix this injury. Suspensions, like a little 1 week suspension for something stupid, an accidental hip drop, a little whatever. You do that in the second last round because you're resting people in the last round. It just takes away a lot of those risks.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you guys and Sharks like went helter-skelter at each other like to get a bit of form. Like you guys probably needed that form, probably more than some of the other teams.
Yeah.
But like Ricky sat all these guys out the last round. Is that the reason they lost to us? I don't think so. But like any HIAs or concussions where it's like, you're going to miss a week and a half, like he didn't have to worry about that. Any little niggling injuries, they got to rest. Anyone having a severe injury in the last round, he got to avoid that. Like, I think that was pretty smart.
Yeah, I think it's very smart.
Obviously, in hindsight, now people are like, well, he shouldn't have rested him because they're like, I don't really think so.
I don't buy that.
But like the Dogs, you guys lost Montoya. I know that's not a big loss. It's probably a good thing for you.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing for us, yeah.
But like the way Crichton is getting banged up a little bit more, like you got a few dudes getting it. Like you had injuries this week where Crichton got hurt and Sexton had to come in, and that probably helped you guys because Sexton probably needs to be on the field more. But like that's just another example of like, okay, we don't really want to rest all the stars because people are paying to come watch the main play. Like, I get that side of it. Like, obviously, we want the product to be good. But at the same time, if you're serious about winning the premiership, like, that's kind of smart.
Yeah.
To just bubble wrap your people to make sure they don't get suspended, they don't get concussed, they don't get a severe injury, especially if you can't really move up the ladder. And that's where I think Penrith people are saying that Cleary stuffed up because he rested them 2 weeks to go. And then in the last round, he brought him back. I think that's like that's a big dog move.
Yeah, it is.
That's like we don't care that it actually does affect our standings, and we could have finished 5th maybe. We don't care if we drop to 7 and got to travel to New Zealand. We'll beat them. We don't care. Because I think they can beat anyone anywhere, and they have that confidence. Whereas, you know, you guys, Sharks, you didn't really change much on the ladder, and you still played guys.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand that. But for Cleary, it would have made sense to not rest the guys. And he was just like, whatever, I'm going to rest them because we can beat anyone anywhere. And they did.
They did. And
they
the
went
thing
on
with
the road and they won.
Yeah, and the thing with Penrith as well, people are forgetting that Cleary's just won 4 comps in a row. People are forgetting exactly what he's capable of.
Yeah.
So everyone's saying, oh, that's a dumb move.
As a Broncos fan, I know.
Yeah.
25 minutes in that grand final of just possibly the best play I've seen in a grand final individually. And I don't know, people seem to forget that because they haven't seen it as much this year.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not possible.
Doesn't mean anything, bro. And the thing is, like, you know, you mentioned something about the Dogs and the Sharks. And it's the thing that gets me is that look at the coaches coaching those clubs. They have Serraldo coaching the Dogs. Yep. He's 3 years into his deal.
Yep.
And you have Fitzgibbon, who's 4 years into his coaching career. Babies compared to your Ricky Stewarts, your Craig Bellamy's, you know, your Madge Maguire's, who's been there, done that. You know, inexperience has shown. Now, we can talk about the Dogs all we want. We can talk about how, you know, Sexton should be starting 7 every week, Money should be at 9 and whatever. But you're right. In a game where we tried to build a bit of confidence, it flopped because not only did we lose Montoya, but one piece of the Dogs that is so underrated that we have noticed, now I've known for a while, but what people have started to realize the most is Bronson Cherry.
Yeah.
Him going down and getting concussed screwed us over. It stuffed us up completely. That whole left edge, we got dismantled by the Sharks on that left edge.
Yeah.
And we continue to get sorted through because just how of the importance of Cherry in that position. Dogs had to play all their players because they're still trying to build this Galvin combination, which I don't agree with. But again, that's the difference between an experienced coach and inexperienced.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a guy that's been there, done that as a coach, and a guy that's, you know, he's just still trying to find his way around. So at the end of the day, how I see it all coming about is that if you're experienced, you know what you're doing. If you're inexperienced, it's going to show. And it showed.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Hines got suspended before it got overturned. They obviously lost Hazleton. And like credit to Sharks, they went on like a 5. They won like 5 of their last 6 games in the year. They got a bit of confidence. They used that to get the job over the Roosters. I mean, they're trying to do it as tough as anyone to try, you know, make that grand final. But at the end of the day, you know, like your Ricky Stewarts, your Madge Maguires, and your Ivan Clearys have mastered the art of resting players when we need to rest them. You know, not building these combinations. We can build it. We can bring stuff up early in the year. It doesn't really matter. But 100%. When it's important, we'll get it done.
100%.
And the thing with the Bulldogs, and I didn't want to talk about it, but you've brought it up. The thing that I'm very upset about as a fan, and I know you're smiling a lot because it brings you joy with the Dogs and stuff. But yeah, but I don't agree. Well, first off, Serraldo hasn't impressed me yet.
Fair.
He hasn't impressed me yet. All he's done, he's basically the Brad Arthur without a grand final. Without a grand final appearance. He's taken the club from the bottom to the top-ish. But the thing that gets me is Serraldo threw away the year. Serraldo and Gould threw away the year when we were coming first, and then they decided to go, okay, well, what's the classic saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? We take out Sexton, and we take out Marnie, and we put in Bailey Hayward, who was killing it off the bench as a backup lock, and put in Galvin, who's inexperienced. It's not these players' faults. I'll make that very clear. This isn't Galvin's crap. No, he's not crap. And Hayward's not crap either. The problem is, what the club has done is the club has, for some reason, looked at it in the perspective of, we're not running first, we're running 15th. And we're going to use this time to build combinations. As opposed to, we've got something amazing going.
Yeah.
Of the 16 games that Sexton was at 7, we won 12. 75%.
Yeah.
Very solid. Marnie in there, by Marnie coming off and getting him removed and him playing 15 minutes a game, one, ruined Marnie for the season. Ruined his mindset. The fact that they took the grubbiness out of his game actually made him worse as a player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to see the Dogs, and this is the thing, stubbornness. To see Serraldo and Gould be so stubborn and continually stubborn, and his stubborn got proven like straight in his face the second Sexton came on against Melbourne and scored a try.
Yeah.
He was
instant impact.
He was right place, right time. Don't get me wrong, but we looked so much better.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect. I mean, there's that key play in the game where Sexton kicked out on the 4 and it changed the momentum completely, and then that we got on, and then obviously Burden deciding to kick it short, quick short dropout when you're leading by 4, very stupid, but that's inexperience.
Yeah, 100%.
And to throw away the season like the Bulldogs have done, I feel sick. I do feel sick because you're coming. We should have finished first. I don't like talking about my club and saying we should have guaranteed this and success, whatever, but Bulldogs should have finished first.
You had the schedule for it.
We did.
It was a weaker schedule, and correct me if I'm wrong, but finishing higher means you're going to have a tougher schedule next year, right?
Yeah, but
So
at the end of the day,
this was a little bit of a waste, to your point, where you guys started so well and you were figuring it out as you went, even though it was against lesser opponents. Like, you can only play who they put in front of you, but
Yeah.
it was giving you the momentum and the chemistry to beat these better teams, and then you guys went and changed it. So,
It's
Ray,
sickening.
what are your thoughts on how the first half of the season went compared to the second half of the season for you guys?
Listen, I don't buy into the narrative that we had an easy run. We had the Canberras, we had the Broncos. Granted, we lost to you guys, but we did have those challenges scattered throughout the season. I've always said that this season has been the battle of the trash teams. I've always said that the only 2 teams that were any good were Penrith and Melbourne, and everyone else have been playing crap footy. Everyone else has been playing backyard football. That's been my opinion all year. The Bulldogs have been the best of the rubbish teams.
Yeah.
Stat is 100% right. Serraldo took our season. Gould took our season and said, great, but I want to build Galvin. I love the Galvin signing. I think he is perfect for us. I think everyone is correct in saying that Sexton was not going to win us a comp, but you threw away 2025.
I don't know that Galvin is perfect for you guys, and I'll explain why. Obviously, it's well documented what he said before he left the Tigers. He's unprofessional, dummy spit. And yes, he's a kid, I get that. But to your point earlier, I think he needs a Madge type coach. I don't think Serraldo is the type of guy to pull a young kid into line who thinks he's better and bigger than the team, like he did at the Tigers, thinking, this place sucks, I'm better than this. Like, you need someone to pull that kid's head in and actually teach him the game and focus him and discipline him to be like, this is what it's about, and this is what we need from you, and this is how you're going to help us win. And again, I don't think Serraldo's garbage. I think he's unproven, but I don't think he's that guy for Galvin. Does Galvin suit the rest of your team and your players? Possibly. But like, I don't think he's got the coach to pull him into line and really set him up for success in Serraldo. Half because I don't think he's that disciplinarian, and half because I just don't think Serraldo's that experienced yet. Like, I think Gould on paper looks at Galvin and is like, yeah, that's a great player. He'll be a good fit. But to do it mid-season and not have a preseason to actually kind of practice it, you need a coach who really knows a lot and how to integrate things real quick and how to pull a young kid like that in and make him successful instantly. Like, it was always going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, listen, Stat said this when we signed Galvin, and he was 100% right. You bring Galvin in, you put him into reserves. Max, you play him off bench.
Yeah.
And I think if we do that, we don't throw away this season, and then we've got a good shout for Galvin next season.
Yeah.
That's a progressive thing. And you know what? That I'm not going to fully hammer Serraldo on. That could have been Gould saying, no, you got to play the kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know that was Serraldo saying, oh, let's give him some time. There's every chance in the world that Gould was like, nah, we went out of our way to bring this guy in. We're not bringing him in to play reserve. Like, he's got to play first. It might have been taken out of Serraldo's hand, potentially. Yeah. So, I mean, if that's the case, that's the case. If Serraldo was pushing for it, I think progressively easing him in while you guys were doing well anyway. It's not like, to your point, you're 15th and you need results now. Like, let's gradually ease him into this because we're doing a good job. We're winning as it is. Let's show him what winning's about.
Yeah.
And then play him a little bit more, and then suddenly let him take over gradually. Natural progression. Like, it would have been better, I think.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you guys didn't do that. I still think you finished high enough to make a little bit of noise. And, I mean, Melbourne wasn't, like, super convincing against you guys. Like, I think you guys were right there. So it's not like you guys totally turned into wooden spooners suddenly. But, like, it affected. Because, like you said, like, Marnie's mentals after all that, obviously that's going to affect him. Sexton's mentals, like when he finally does get on the field, he feels like he's got to prove himself and do like 100 things to show like, no, I should still be here. Like, it does chuck everything off. And I don't think Hayward's a hooker. Like, I don't think that's his best position either. So, like, changing a lot of things, like, it's tough to do on the fly, and it's usually something you only do out of necessity, and I don't think it was necessary for you.
No, it wasn't necessary. And in the changing... The players that were taken out were changing from our spawn position players.
Yeah.
You know, Marnie, hooker, Sexton, halfback. You know, you can't... Like, I look at it, and many fans look at it and say, you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? But why people... There are a lot of Dogs fans that live in La La Land, and I can't stand them, and they're very oblivious to this fact. And I've only thought about this extremely recently. This season will come back to bite us in 4 years' time, when we don't win a comp, and our best shot was this year. Yeah. People don't understand that. People don't think, because now we're in our premiership window, let's face it. These next 2, maybe 3 years are our best chance to win a comp. Yeah. And if we don't do it, our best chance has been this year, and it's going to be talked about how Serrato threw away this year in 4 years' time. Mark my words. In 3-4 years' time, everyone will come back, watch this podcast, and they'll realize that what I'm saying is correct. Because at the end of the day, there has been no reason, and there's nothing that's convincing me to show why we're throwing away the season.
Ray, I know you're an American sports fan, especially the NFL. I can see Gould, if you guys don't win in the next few years, turning into a Jerry Jones type figure, where he owns a big blue and white franchise that's notorious for success, but haven't had it for a while.
Yes,
and he makes all these big moves, and he's always got something up his sleeve, and our window will continue and whatever, but the results just don't come, and we're getting these guys from Penrith, and we're bringing this guy from the top. Like, there's moves happening, but it just doesn't come together. And I see them being both old men who just always seem to have a plan, but the plan doesn't work. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying he's there yet, but like in the next few years, to Stat's point, if during this window you guys don't have that success, I can see it becoming similar to that, where it's like this is our year every year kind of team because we're doing okay and we got the players, and then it just doesn't happen.
Listen, if Gould was with our club longer than he's been now, I'd agree with you 100%. Is Jerry Jones right down the barrel?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying give it a few years if it keeps going.
The thing about Gould is he needs time to cook. He always has. That's been his thing. And look at what's happening with Penrith. I mean, the results speak for themselves. If, like that says, this doesn't happen in 2 or 3 years and we don't get it, then Gould has lost it. But I still have faith in Gould that he knows what he's doing. I still think Gould knows that Galvin's the right signing. He's the future of our club. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that we threw away the 2025 season.
Yeah.
And if we don't see results in the future, you are 100% right, Stat. We are stuffed, we're done, and it's going to come back to the 2025. We threw it away.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, on Galvin, I think he will be eventually for us a 13. I think that's where he will be best positioned for us.
100%.
Yeah, he won't be a 7 for long. I know that much already. But the point I wanted to make on this, and the final thing I'll say about the Dogs, is extending Serrato for a further 3 years, not necessary. I think the fact that he's there for another 6 years, I feel sick to my stomach. He has a lot to do to prove me wrong, because right now, again, I'm not seeing anything great. Okay, we moved from bottom to top 4, exceptional, and all those people, all these Dogs fans out there that live in this little la la land, that's successful. Get a grip. If you're not a fan to win a comp, then why are you a fan? But the final club I want to talk about, and we've spoken about a little bit, and like before we wrap this up, Canberra Raiders, because they've been, and look, a lot of teams, a lot of fans wrote off Canberra as spooners. They go, they'll get the spoon. I didn't think they'd make the finals. I'll be straight out. I think I put Canberra at 12th or 13th. I didn't see them making the finals this year. what they've done has been absolutely incredible. And people are already trying to write off the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, I think for the season they've had, it's been absolutely incredible. I still think they have, but there's still things that they can do. And if it's not this year, I think the next 2 years are bright for them. Do you know what I mean? And I think the way Stewart has recruited, and the thing about Stewart, and I love, and everyone seems to hate Ricky Stewart because they're all dumb. But the thing I love about Ricky Stewart is that Ray said it earlier about, the players aren't bigger than the club, right? The way he has orchestrated the salary cap at the Canberra Raiders, incredible. Incredible. Everyone knows their value. Everyone knows their worth. And if someone wants to walk in and say, I'm worth more, you can get the hell out of the club. No one's needed to do that because Ricky Stewart knows. He's got a good team around him that knows exactly what the value is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If they don't do anything this year, which I really hope they do, but if they don't do anything this year, these next couple of years are going to be incredible for them if they can keep this up. The biggest thing that will happen to Canberra, though, is the fact that they lost Fogarty to Manly.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, before I delve fully into Canberra, talking about Ricky and how long he's been there, like his tenure, like back to Serraldo just really quickly, like as a coach myself, like job security is great. Like coaches, we love it, but contracts don't mean anything for starters. If I'm the Dogs, I'm not extending him. I'm keeping him on a shorter leash to give him the motivation to prove himself.
Yep.
Like Ricky's done
Yep.
with Canberra. Like he's been there a long time. Like I don't think anyone really questions him, although like he's had a few years where I think he's underachieved. But the thing about Ricky is, and to your point about them having been written off as spooners, they always seem to do really well when nobody expects them to do well. And then they have a fantastic season, and then people think they're going to do well, and then the next year they kind of
they dip.
10th, 11th. Like, am I saying that I expected them to get the spoon? No, I actually thought they'd sneak into the 8 or be 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. Did I see this coming? No, absolutely not. With that said, am I so surprised? Kind of not really, because Ricky is one of those guys who so evidently has his team's back. And, like, you can see how much joy they have playing for him. He's on the sidelines yet. Like, he rides every play, every possession of the ball. Like, he's one of those coaches that guys just love to play for. And if you have a decent enough group and they're that bought in for each other and for their coach, like, success doesn't surprise me. Obviously, to this level, did I see that coming? No. And that's probably more because of having Strange at your half, having Weeks, like these guys who are great now, like they were very unproven and young before this season. They didn't really break out. And I don't think anyone can really say that they saw them breaking out the way they did. But they've been huge for them. But like, if you look at their core, like Big Papa's been there ages. I like him. Tarpanay, I like him. Horsburgh, I like him. We nearly had him. And he decided to stay. And that just shows you what they've got going on at Canberra. Like last year they struggled, and Horsburgh was halfway out the door. They finished the season with a flurry of wins. He gets a chip and chase match-winning try. Suddenly the vibes are high, and they're like, you know what? We can do something here. So, like, they keep those three forwards together. Hudson Young, who I absolutely hate, is a very good player, even though he's a grub. So, like, some of those forwards, they're pretty good, and it was just all about these young playmakers. If the forwards could put them in position, could they do anything with the ball? And I think Fogarty's been instrumental for Strange and Weeks to try to help organise them as well as the rest of the team. So losing him is going to be huge.
Huge for him.
But at the same time, like, that's what makes them hard to beat. Like, they just are very systematic with what they do. They all play for each other and for their coach. And it's hard to beat a team like that because, we allow a try, but it's so-and-so's fault, whatever. It's not my fault. Like, in bad chemistry situations, like that happens a lot. In Canberra, it's like, I want to help this guy. He's helping me. We're all helping each other. And now suddenly you're not beating one or two guys on an edge. You're beating a whole team that are all turning up for each other. And, I mean, credit to Ricky. Like, he's done a fantastic job. Will it end up being a premiership? I don't know. Because like we said, like Penrith, Melbourne, like they could just turn up and beat anyone any day. But like, I think Canberra can too. And like Fogarty's nothing flash in my opinion. He's just that solid veteran leader who not only helps on game day, he's helped these young guys develop. And the older veteran forwards, they're just fantastic. Like they for a long time have had an amazing forward pack, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And if Strange and Weeks can hang around and play off the back of it, and they find a decent half to join them, like they're going to be good to your point for a while. Like I think their window's pretty big. Even their outside backs, like on the edges, like most of those guys aren't old either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, can they win it this year? And if they don't, can they be consistent? Because every time there's high expectations, they kind of, I'm not going to say they suck, but they don't really achieve them. When they're underdogs or they're written off, they always turn up. And like, you see it in the media. There's been a few times where they've asked Ricky this season, hey, are you using this as motivation to get your team going? Because they know that he loves that underdog status. He loves going back to his boys and say, boys, they're writing us off again. Let's turn up and show them. Like,
He loves it.
They're not underdogs anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a big difference. I'm not saying that's why we beat them, but like there's a target on them now, whereas they were kind of like, whatever at the beginning of the season, like, they're not going to beat us. Oh, they got a few wins. Oh, they're rolling now. Suddenly, you thought we were bad. Now look at us. We're top of the table, which Ricky loves, and he flourishes in that. Yeah. And so to that point, like if they play Penrith, are they underdogs? Probably. Yeah. Penrith might be the only team ever to go from the bottom four of the finals and be the favourite every game they play just because of their championship pedigree.
Yeah.
And if they do match up with Canberra, like I definitely think that's a situation where Ricky's going to be like, hey, 4-time champs. No one expects us to win. You guys going to just rock up and lose? Or like are we going to come and cause some damage and create an upset, which that's what Canberra are really good at. So, yeah, like they've been fantastic, and I think they can be fantastic for a while. It just depends on who they get to replace Fogarty, what direction they go in, and can they keep it consistently going? Because these young stars now, like, it's not a surprise. When you turn up and you see Strange and Weeks on those, like, you got a game plan for them.
Yeah.
Like, when they're young and they haven't broken out yet, like, you see second-year syndrome with a lot of players. Like, I can think of a lot of players, Chris Keating, for example, Daniel Mortimer. They just came out and they were amazing. And then the next year they sucked and they sucked. And I don't see Strange going down that path, but it's a lot easier when people don't see it coming. Now they're going to see it coming next year. They're going to see it coming the year after. Yeah. Can they continue this excellence? Because a lot of their games have been close, grind-out wins that, if you look at the Dragons, goes the other way, and suddenly you're 10th, 11th, 12th on the ladder. And I'm not saying Canberra should be down there, but some of those wins maybe don't happen next year and the year after because teams are now more prepared for them.
Yeah.
With that said, I like Ricky, and I really hope they keep rolling for years to come.
Me too.
Because he cops a lot of flack, like you said, but like as a player, there aren't many other coaches that I'd want to play for other than someone like that. Like obviously Bellamy's intense. I respect him. He's had success. Like I'd love to play for him because like I just know he knows what he's doing, and let's all buy in and do our job. Great. Like Ricky is another one of those coaches where it's like, you know what? He's going to have my back. He's going to look after us, but he's also going to demand excellence from us. Like you love to play for someone like that. And I think they're going to be good for the next few years. And I hope they win one.
Yeah.
Obviously not at the expense of my Broncos, hopefully. But like if we do get knocked out,
up the milk.
If we do play them in the final again, which could work out, I mean, I would hope we win. But if we lost to them instead of Penrith, for example, I could live with that because I like Ricky. I like the Raiders.
You like what they built.
It's time. Like they've had a few years where they were good. They nearly got the Roosters years ago. Obviously, very interesting referee call or no call or change call, whatever. I'm sure a lot of us would have liked to see them beat the Roosters. But, I mean, if they finally get one, I'll be really happy for them. I like Ricky, and I hope he stays at the Raiders for a very long time, and they extend him for years upon years upon years because he deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, look, I really hope. I know that Ethan Sanders will come into the club from the New South Wales Cup tenor next year. He'll be their 7. So whether he's a young pro junior, there's big raps on him. So whether he can actually come in and make a big impact in his first year, I think it'll be tough for the Raiders. But look, guys, thank you so much for joining a brand new episode of League Chat with the Stat. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Have a Chat Productions, where you'll find all your League Chat content. And Bill, thank you for coming on. Ray, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Enjoy, and enjoy the rest of the final series. Chat soon.